Hi everyone, hashtag B1 Less News, hashtag CDC Whistleblower, hashtag SP277, hashtag mine in all caps. I'm here with at CES Dave, also known as Candace with a Y, at Tanner's Dad, also known with as Timothy Welsh when I don't accidentally call him Tanner. And we are doing our second Tad Tips for the day because tomorrow's Mother's Day and we might be too busy. Tons of stuff happened today. Number one, we had huge success at the Grove with Wendy out there on the right with Million Mamas Movement. I'm behind the camera, which is my favorite place to be. And huge success, had a blast, got the word out. The concept we're promoting is it's cool to care. I need to implant in people's minds the concept that we really think is going to move the needle when it comes to these red, are you singing red yet, where we go out in public, and there's different times we go out in public. We go out in an attempt to find like-minded people to bring to our side, and there's times when we go to Sacramento where we're trying to make them see red so they get that we're not going anywhere, we are here to stay, will go away. Two very different times. When we're in Sacramento, we're polite, but we are energetically fierce. Energetically, look, we're the mama bears, and you don't want to mess with us without ever getting angry. When we're doing the type of thing we did at the Grove today, the vibe is energetic attraction. It's cool to care. We're the cool kids. We're the people you want to hang with because we're having such a good time. And it was really hard to arrive at that because it's a transition from how we've been in Sacramento. So I want people to really start modulating their energy when they do these things because we're going to do a lot more moving forward. We're going to start having these things on the calendar all over the place on a regular basis. One of the things I want to put on the schedule from Monday through Thursday is meet at a pier to go for a walk for an hour, where you meet at a pier on Monday, you meet at a different pier on Tuesday, and then a third one and a fourth one Thursday and Friday, and you walk for 30 minutes, and then you walk back, and it's just a group of people in their red shirts having great conversations, reaching out to other people, and people want to start becoming part of us because we are such a hip group of people. That's the vibe that I want us to promote. And then when we go to Sacramento, where my goal is to have people actually camp in Sacramento this coming week, since if you haven't heard yet, they slimed through appropriations by taking out the paragraph that said that they would basically pay for anything associated. We have a meme for that. So again, this is the vibe when you're out trying to rally people. It's not a protest. It's a, hey, join us. There's this really cool thing we're doing that happens to be stomping out a really terrible bill. So now let's go to, this is a group that we started, on hashtag SB277 School Leverage, where we are working on this project. Our goal by Monday is to have every single school and school district matched up to their assembly members and their senators with all the information to contact them with what's going on with this bill, that the cities and school districts are going to be left holding the bag. And that's the group. It's tinyurl.com/SB277school is where you can join that group and get going. And one of the things I said today at the Grove, and I'm going to repeat it here, if anybody's telling you you're doing anything wrong when it comes to this movement of killing these bills, they are wrong. Everybody who's positive and coming at this with their gifts and what they want to bring to the table, if it's their idea, it's perfect because they are perfectly equipped to run with it, and other people will gravitate to them because they're passionate about it, and they'll have the help that they'll need. Like, you should see how on fire people were gathering all the information that we needed today for all these school districts. I mean, absolutely on fire. And the top 3 people leading the charge were from Texas, and then Terry Rourke was involved in there. So we're getting that done. It's going to be a totally open source document that will be shared everywhere, probably by tomorrow night or early Monday morning. The other thing that has been going on, whole crazy brouhaha behind the scenes with this whole thing going on with the Democratic Party on the 16th at 11 a.m. in Anaheim. Here's the deal. There's, as you guys know, all these groups, all this energy, everybody trying to own what's going on, everybody trying to pretend that what they're doing is right and what other people are doing wrong. And again, everybody who's passionate about what they're doing is absolutely doing it right until they try to tell somebody else they're doing something wrong. So what happened today is, we're not sure of all the details, but the group that had come out of, had been created, it was a Facebook event that was created for the Democratic Convention rally inside, where we're going inside the Democratic Convention. They got frustrated, it seems, that we were talking about doing a rally outside, canceled the page. The 280 people who'd signed up received emails saying the event was canceled. It's not canceled. LA is all over this. We've got the Awake group, we've got Marissa's group, we've got California Coalition for, we are getting this done. The Democratic Party in Anaheim, at the Anaheim Convention Center, show up at 11 o'clock for Outside Wear Red. Bring your kids, your strollers, your bubbles, your balloons. The goal is to have families that have said, look, we are not going anywhere. We are here to make you understand what's going on. And then we're going to have people that are going to be business casual, who are going to go inside to the Democratic Convention to lobby. We have talking points. We have mug shots of all the assembly members that we need to talk to, and we are going to make this happen. This is happening, and there will be 1,200 of us there at the Democratic Convention from all over California. So if you heard it was canceled, it was a mistake. Now let's go here. Oh, okay, that's all I had for today. You guys can go now. What do you got, Tim? Candace? Anybody? This is Tanner.
We have our event, the showing of Trace Amounts on the 13th in Santa Barbara.
Oh,
I'll be speaking on that panel. And then on the 15th, we have the movie Bot. I'm sorry, Bot is in Santa Barbara, and Trace Amounts will be in San Luis Obispo.
Okay.
So we're getting the word out, people to come and see.
So we need some of our meme makers to go to Candace on Twitter and say, Candace, I can help you with a meme on that. Give me all the details. Candace will tweet out all the details. One of our meme makers will make one of our beautiful memes, and then we'll start tweeting that out tomorrow, Candace. Okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll get the people on that. So what else, Tim? Did Tim just, it's late and
Danny Masterson tweeted again. That was very interesting. Very powerful and strong words.
What?
What do you say?
Tim doesn't cuss like that. Let me say it.
I love it.
He said, this is crazy. I love that the F word is the one word you can say without saying it, and people know that you just said it. You know what I mean?
Right, but again, that's 2 million viewers, 2 million followers every time he opens his mouth. And so
was that 2 days ago, Tim?
Yeah, I think it was within the 24 hours. So
close your eyes. Here it comes. Let's find it. Hello, California. Let's be punk rock and say the system and no at Dr. Pan MD. Hashtag Big Pharma. Hashtag CanPan for hashtag SB277 change.org. Oh, what's this one? Yeah. Oh, very good. We got 4,900 signatures out of 5,000. Let's make this one happen. In fact, let's create a tiny URL for this one. This one's just beautiful. Oh my God, I was looking at the video footage of me today at the Grove because I was trying really hard. We couldn't yell, we couldn't have signs, so I was trying really hard to create this. It's cool to care. Let's look like the cool group of people that everyone would want to be a part of. And oh my God, I absolutely looked drunk. I looked like I was drunk. It was really quite funny. I think I channeled that part of my brain that drank in college or something. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
let's see if we can get the tiny URL for Can Pan. You like that one?
Yep.
Oh, it didn't like that. Okay, Can Pan is already taken. I gotta see what this one is. Sorry, it's late. I'm playing. What does it go to? Oh, what is that? Savannah, Georgia? Yeah, I don't know what that is. So that one didn't have anything to do with our particular task. So, Can Pan petition. That'll work. So now you can go to Can Pan petition, tinyurl.com's Can Pan petition, and sign this petition that Danny Masterson was sharing. We need to cultivate him #CDC whistleblower style.
I did that today. I was on it.
Give him some good.
I did. I gave him B1 less. I gave him all kinds of cool memes.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Kimmel versus Burger King plus Bieber. I kind of like. He has 2 million followers. God, it shows that.
Well, what was the show he was in? Was it The Daily Show? What?
I don't know.
Tim, do you know?
Tim.
What was the one with what's his name?
I have no idea who he
Oh,
is.
that 70s show. That's the show that he was on.
Really?
I think.
Oh, he was the older brother.
Oh, that's who that is. Okay, so I'm just trying to see what's here. Okay, so one other last thing that we need to talk about, and people should definitely go to tinyurl.com/tadtips136. But I want to talk about an experience I've had twice now. Tonight I had an experience. I was trying to just fit in. I drank some Baileys, trying to just fit in with normal people and not talk about any of this stuff. And then we were talking to these people who lived in San Francisco, and I opened my mouth and said, oh my God, I've been going to Sacramento every week for the last 3 weeks. And of course they're like, well, why were you doing that? I'm like, oh, well, I'm an activist. I mean, I'm not paid, but I'm an activist. Oh, really? Well, what are you, activist about? And I said, oh, well, they're trying to pass this this legislation in California that would mandate vaccines across the board with no exemptions for anybody. And I saw the guy get cold-faced immediately. He said, oh, really? Well, why would that be a problem? And I said, well, for one, I mean, we have kids 17, 16, 15, 14 who've never been vaccinated. We've never had a situation in California where people couldn't have a personal belief exemption. The only other 2 states that only have a medical exemption are Mississippi and West Virginia. I said, what would these kids do? He goes, well, one, they could show up at their doctor and get vaccinated. He said, do you realize there's absolutely zero science to support the idea that vaccines cause any problem to anybody? I said, I can't stop laughing. This is sick and twisted. I said, I probably know 1,000 people who personally witnessed their children's vaccine injury. He said, you know what? You can't prove anything. That doesn't prove causation. Just because someone saw it doesn't mean that that's how it was caused. I knew there was no winning with this guy. So I said, you know what? I've been researching this for 13 years. We're not going to come to agreement about this. So I think we should probably just stop. He said, well, let's just, have you heard of something called herd immunity? And I got this look like, are you fucking kidding me? So he goes, oh, well, so you have. And I said, let me ask you, are you a doctor? He goes, I'm a neuroscientist. I'm like, okay. He says, so you've heard of herd immunity? I said, yeah, for example, when you look it up in Wikipedia. He goes, oh, well, there's a great resource. I said, I'm not trying to say it's a great resource. I'm trying to say they can't even define it there. They don't even use the words herd immunity anymore. They use community immunity because nobody can agree on a definition. But he was so dogmatic and slowed close down that I kept trying to not discuss it with him. But it makes me realize that, number one, if if you show up at someone's door to talk about vaccines and they slam the door and they lock it, but then they try to scream at you through the window, do not engage.
Right. You should have said, have you ever heard of horizontal transmission?
Well, except for then I would have to, there was just, my point.
Yeah, you'd have to go.
My point, though, is I'm better at this argument than almost anybody I know. I really am, and I can usually, I was in a totally hostile environment at a school district meeting, and when the guy was a total prick, I walked over and I said, I really would like to continue this on email. He said, there is nothing you could possibly give me that would change my mind. And I said, I believe you, but I still think it would be better served to it via email. But my point is that it really rocked me. Like, I was at this party, I was doing fine, and then he apologized to me, and then the next picture I saw was the picture of the girl whose bat mitzvah it was as a baby, and that was it for me. It was just like, because those of us who are doing this, look at this man who thinks that he's in the right, who's killing kids. They're killing kids.
It reminds me how aggravated people got when we started talking about the effectiveness of the flu vaccine after they had gotten the flu vaccine. I mean, they just became belligerent at the fact that they went out and got a flu vaccine, and then you question the effectiveness. They just got angry over it, and I realized on that situation it was better just to walk away, because they had already got out and got the flu vaccine, and they had bought into the premise that it was going to protect them no matter what.
Well, and it's just this huge high level of cognitive dissonance. But when somebody initiates with, there are no studies, there is no research, it doesn't matter that you know that Dr. Sherry Tenpenny has 6,500 research articles. It doesn't matter that you know that there's 1,000 Hear This Well videos and 10,000 more where those came from. None of that matters. And I'm trying to say two things. Number one, save yourself from the drama. Don't open your mouth about it when you haven't already assessed the situation. And that's the beauty of this concept of #mine with the red shirts, where you sit in the corner at the coffee shop and you show up at the beach and you show up at the park and you let people come to you and ask you. And if they ask you something and they try to argue with you, you say, you approached me and I wanted to be very open, and I said, ask me anything, and you did, and I answered your question, and now it just appears that we're not going to get anywhere with each other, so I'm going to walk away. But don't invest. Part of the reason why I do better with my temperament, with these debates with people, is because there's a part of my soul that's like closed down to these people who are so entrenched in their dogma, and they believe it. And for someone to say there is no research that exists and people are never harmed from vaccines, that is a stone cold dead end. Don't go there. So I'm excited about this mind stuff, for us to start really getting out there. I think I'm just going to wear my mind red shirt until this.
And again, we should just go over a couple of the bullet points there. When somebody comes back to you with the anecdotal thing, say, right off the bat, that's the beginning of all science. Is when somebody reports something, then you're supposed to investigate honestly. And let's say you had 1,000 people come forward with a story of vaccine injury. If you have 1,000 people come forward, their own studies come back and show that 750 of those cases would absolutely be right on what the person's reporting. So when you have anecdotal evidence and you have 1,000 cases, 750 are going to be exactly what they said. You can throw out 250. So there's still 750 that you have to explain out of 1,000.
But I think my point is that if I only spend my...
You're trying to say that you need to protect your own well-being. And again, going back to our benchmark, is this discussion going to save one child today? And so, yes, you plant the seeds that are going to just eat at his soul, that there's going to be something that along the way, when they do the never statement, that something down the road's going to trip the trigger, that he said, oh, there's no scientific evidence to this, and then somewhere down the road that scientific evidence that he's going to see over and over again is going to come forward, and it's going to eat at his soul.
Yeah, but that's not really even worth our time, I don't think, Tim, because it's going to eat at their soul anyway, because they're going to be on the wrong side of history. And I think any time we invest there, any time you have to look at someone and say, are they open to this, and where are they open to this? You know, and you don't start with vaccines. You start, you know, like, hey, so how's your family? Are all your kids healthy? Because I don't notice that anymore. And it's like, you know, 4 sentences in before you ever even discuss vaccines. And I think more of us need to be quote unquote pro-vaccine. You know what I mean? Like underground. Look, we're not against vaccines because
we're pro-safe vaccine.
Exactly. Are you anti-vaccine? No. Nobody's anti-safe vaccine. Okay, now we're getting way too long-winded.
Let me just tell you, Dana.
Yes.
Not me. I walk up straight to people and I hand them my card and say my child was vaccine injured. Do you want some facts? You know, that's what I do. And they're like, oh my God, I've been really worried about this. You know, I'm like, go check out the facts.
And
I have to say too, human to human, I've never had even doctors off of their pedestal. They come back and they have a human to human discussion with it. It's very few that you meet the really dogmatic and you're absolutely right. You just walk away from that 1 out of 100 that is.
No, Tim, it's more than 1 out of 100. Like every doctor I know.
I'm running into all of them right now, I think, between my principal, who said people are just, you know, taking advantage of the system, and then the doctors who started yelling at us. I was sitting there with Lori, gorgeous blonde in a suit, full-on Wall Street looking, and they started yelling at us. And the reason why they got so angry is because they know that they really don't have anything to support the dogma. So save your energy, find your red. We're going to see you on the 16th at the Democratic Party. We're probably going to see you in Sacramento on Thursday. We're going to do this, but it's going to happen on the streets, and it's going to start being really, really cool to care. That's the vibe. Love you guys. See you on Twitter. #SB277.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
BeOneLess.com.
And happy Mother's Day to you too, Timothy.
Yep.
You've changed more than enough diapers for someone to, you know, classify. Love you guys. Bye.